Hello there and welcome back to Fandoms Edge Podcast, your home for discussion on games, TV, film and everything in between. My name is Tom and in this episode of the podcast I'm going to be chatting about some upcoming game releases, the recent controversy surrounding PlayStation and the highly anticipated release of GTA 6. But first, I need to address the elephant in the room. First of all, hello, we're back. Hi. I say we, it's just me. That is the elephant in the room. There's no Joe, which is weird. This is weird. It's going to have to be a little bit of a getting used to. The quick version, by the way, I did make a sort of update video about what's going on with the podcast on the YouTube channel. So if you're not already following or don't know it, or you're just listening on Spotify or whatever, you know, if you want a full explanation, it's over there. Basically, I've wanted to come back to the podcast for quite a while, and well, I've buggered Joe about it. He doesn't really have the time. He doesn't really want to do it. So I'm like, do you know what? I still want to do it. So I asked for permission because this podcast is our thing. Both of us, 50-50. It's our thing, and I wanted to make sure he was okay with me continuing solo, which is exactly what's going to happen here. Format, by the way, the same. I'm actually planning to do this weekly because there's so much stuff that happens, and I think I can do it, and I'm going to give it a go solo, and we'll see what it does. But let me know what your thoughts are, as always. But yes, this is going to be a little bit different because I don't have Joe to bounce stuff off. I love those conversations where I get to bounce his other opinions off and I get to respond, and it's great and it's amazing. Anyway, that's the gist of things. We're back. If you don't already know, you know, we're on Spotify. We're on the podcasting choice of yours, and YouTube as well. If you want to see the video version, where you get to see me and my lovely, nice trim. Before I actually get into the main events of today's podcast, I do want to sort of mention the podcast that we actually did last. I think we talked about the Switch 2, and it was revealed. That's how long ago it was. That something arrived the other day. Now, if you're on Spotify, I'm sorry. If you're listening to the podcast, you won't know what I'm about to do. But I am about to grab something that and then show it to people, because I think you know what's happening. Oh yes. Oh yes. Look at that. For the people on YouTube, yeah, you'll be able to see that. Spotify, yeah, no. I'm showing my Switch on camera. I've got a Switch 2 now. Yay! Do you know what's funny? The fact that we were talking about that in the last episode number 21, which was 2025 January, I think. Fun fact, by the way, we prepped number 22 and then Joe had to go on his hiatus. We were going to talk about, there was a Rooster Teeth thing. There was the first clip of Battlefield 6 back then. There was a Warhammer update. Yeah. It was going to be a good episode, but no. Right, that's the elephant in the room sorted. As normal, if you're regular, we go through the game releases. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Most of these, by the time you're listening, are past, but you know, I'm going to let you know what's sort of happening in the last few weeks. First of all, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced came out, and I grabbed it, and it's very good, and I love it. It's currently very positive reviews on Steam, and I would agree. I'm enjoying it very much. Obviously, there are some little things different, like the it's the memory, whatever it's called, the memory machine, real life bits, modern day stuff. That's what I'm on about. Isn't really part of it. It's just memory to memory, but that's fine. I don't mind that. It runs very well. It looks graphically fantastic, and yeah, it's obviously on PC, so it's on Steam, it'll be on the Ubisoft Connect, and it will be on consoles as well. So yes, let me know how you're finding it, because I am enjoying it. I'm taking my time. It is definitely a good experience, and probably a positive in Ubisoft's books, because you can't go wrong with something that they did very, very well a long time ago. Now, following that, a day later, there was a 1.0 update to Palworld. So that was on the 10th of July. Now, Palworld is something I've sort of dipped in and out of on occasion, and and me and my friends, we did some dipping in again, some quite a few hours. It is very, very fun. And for those people, we've talked about Power 1 on the podcast before. It is, to describe it in the most basic way, it is Pokemon with guns. It is different from Pokemon. There are similarities. There obviously has been the lawsuits going on, all that kind of stuff, and that's fine, whatever. Powered its own thing. It has similarities with Pokemon, sure. That's not what this podcast is about. Basically, I'm enjoying that too. It's quite good. It's quite nice. And it's cross-play. So, somebody like, I don't know, my good friend and Twitch streaming moderator, Jay, who's on his PlayStation 5, can come and join me, which is awesome. We've yet to play Power together. I know he's going to criticize me for that, but anyway, yes, me and my friends are actually planning to get a proper server, so there's more than just 4 people at some point. So yeah, we can do that. More game releases, by the way. Ground Branch is coming out into version 1.0 on the 16th of July, so it will be out by the time you're listening to this podcast. Ground Branch, by the way, is a tactical first-person shooter for PC. I've had my eye on it a few times. It has been made by an original Rainbow Six Siege and Ghost Recon developer. So it's more of that sort of gritty, realistic sort of military first-person shooter. How do I say this? Basically, what I'm trying to get at here is I'm not making a direct comparison to these games, just the sort of grittiness that you would expect. Something like I would compare it to Ready or Not. It's not the same thing, but it's in that sort of ballpark. Armor, not a direct comparison, but again, it's in that similar ballpark, if you get what I mean. It's not arcadey, it is very much realistic and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's coming out in version 1.0 as well. The final game I want to highlight, because this is a game that's sort of caught my eye recently, which is Subway Builder. So if you're like me, you like your simulators and your city builders and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is basically a hyper-realistic transit simulator using live data from US and UK cities, which is quite cool. And first of all, when I first saw this, I thought it was made by the same guys as, what's it called, Metro, whatever. But it isn't. These are brand new guys. It's a different game. The logo is just very, very similar, the sort of splash screen art. But yeah, if you're interested in that'll be coming out on the 17th, and it has come out to mixed reviews at the moment. And yeah, and that is because it actually, although it's a single player game, it needs an internet connection because it needs to connect to servers, which has been a bit of a downside to the people that have been playing it, which, yeah, I gotta agree. Why does a game like that need servers? But it might be to do with the live data thing integrating with the UK and US cities. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I may pick it up. I don't know. I'm not quite sure right now is what I'm getting at here. So, shall we go into our very, very first topic, which is PlayStation's going digital? Oh dear. Yeah, this was very controversial over on the interwebs, on social media. Everyone was talking about this, and so we're going to talk about it. Let me first of all sort of say, the second topic I'm going to talk about, which is GTA 6, it sort of interclines to this, and I'll explain that when I get to GTA 6. But for now, let's just go through the facts, and the facts are this. They have said this: the physical disc production ending in January 2028 for new games released on PlayStation consoles. That is their main title on that blog post. So they posted this on Twitter and all the other socials linking this blog post. It's not very big, so I'm actually going to read it out to you word by word. Let's hope I don't trip up my own words, shall I? So they have said this, and I quote: as consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital format only. This transition has no impact on games that has already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's a retailer's or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. End quote. That was technically quite a bit, but there's only 3 paragraphs in that sort of blog post, so I say it's worth reading out, right? Yeah. Basically, they're going all out digital. Now, my first reaction to this was... Now, I'm obviously mostly a PC gamer. I did my research about this, but I know a few people had this sort of opinion as well, which was, why have we got the outrage for PlayStation now, but not PC more than 10 years ago? Because PC is fully digital, and it has been for over 10 years. And obviously, I don't just go out and do statements blanketly and blindly without any sort of, research. Because I knew about some things and some other perspectives, but I wanted to see what other people were thinking in response, because some people were just blatantly saying, oh, why this outrage, and, all that kind of thing. So I did my research, right? Right. As everybody should do, but, it's the internet. People don't do that. They're like, nah, I'm just going to do an outrageous statement and then get absolutely ratioed, I suppose, because you haven't done your research, but I have. Yeah, basically, PC is an open market versus console. It's got competing stores. It's got DRM-free options that give you ownership over your purchases. That is something you'll probably never get on a closed platform like console once physical media disappears, because once it disappears, bang, that's not going to be an option. I've just used the term DRM, and for those people that don't know what that is, that stands for Digital Rights Management. And this refers to access control technologies used by publishers, copyright holders, and creators to limit the usage, copying, and distribution of their digital content. So really, if you're going digital only, you want a DRM-free option, so you can own your games and you can do whatever you want to them and you can copy them. Now, PC does have these options. So if you've heard of the GOG launcher, that launcher and every single game put on that store that you can buy games from is DRM free. Now, Steam, you might be thinking, well, isn't Steam non-DRM free? You would be wrong, because DRM on Steam is optional for the developers. Steam give devs the option to wrap it in DRM or be DRM free. So they give the option. Good old Steam giving people options. And that's what mostly this topic today is all about, really, is giving people choice, because that's what consumers, and most certainly gamers, want and need. A bit of choice, which Sony is removing for their customers here. So yes, something like GOG or anything, you can copy, you can burn it to a CD or to a stick, or you can launch it without needing a launcher or some sort of license, because if it is DRM, you have a license, you're renting it, you're not buying it. So yeah, and there is one major sort of AAA game on there. There's loads of games, but the one that I own over on GOG is Cyberpunk 2077, and I actually recently, in the recent summer sale, bought the Phantom Liberty DLC. Yes, I know, I'm really, really behind, and I finally decided to grab it. Yes. Yeah. So I have that, and I can copy that, and I own that 100%, which is nice. Obviously, it's not the preferred platform because Steam is. So if you are mad that a game on Steam isn't DRM free, they'll be mad at Valve. Be mad at the devs that decided to go with just DRM. So, yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, and here's the thing that I brought up, because I was discussing this with my friend Jay, and I said to him, the pattern's the same with PC. You know, PC was once this physical media. There were physical discs. In fact, there were some of them which had multiple discs, right? So at one point it was discs, and then those discs turned into boxes with codes in them. Nothing else, no manuals, no leaflets, none of that. Just an empty box with code inside. And then those boxes disappeared and went fully digital. I'm guessing around, from based on what I know, it's around 2018, I think. I think the last physical PC game I got was Train Simulator, which is now obviously renamed Train Simulator Classic, and that was Train Simulator 2024, I think it was. No, that's not right. 2014. The wrong 4. I was 10 years off. Okay, leave me alone. Yeah. So that's the last one I remember buying physically, and that was physically in a game store, and there isn't many game stores around now, unfortunately, because they're all basically shutting down. Because is game now just... I think it's just online, really. There might be like 1 or 2 stores kicking about, but I don't think they are. They've run out of money so many times. Yeah, which is a shame, because I loved going into game and just having a look. The only physical editions for PC you'll find is with collector's editions, and that will just be a code in the box. Unfortunately. I wish PC still had physical media. I wish, but because of the fact that it's a more of an open market, there's also emulation you've got to think about as well, because you can emulate a lot of stuff, and there's other stuff like that. You know, and you might be thinking, well, why would developers and stuff go with DRM stuff? And really, I think that the major upside is the fact that it prevents piracy a lot of the time. Piracy on PC is quite a problem, but what would you prefer? Being able to own something with the risk of being pirated? You know, it's one over the other sort of thing, I think. But if you choose to pirate, I don't condemn that behavior, but you know, it's things that people will do. People will go and sail the 7 seas, unfortunately, and obviously DRM is a really, really good way to combat that, but you can't get rid of piracy, not entirely. It is a problem with PC. PC isn't perfect, right? You know, I'm not one of these PC Master Race people. You know, I understand its ups and downs, and I know console players tend to butt heads with PC players because PC players think they're all high and mighty. There's advantages and disadvantages to every single platform in gaming, PC and console. Yes. But yeah, as I was saying, there was the pattern with PC, isn't there? The fact that happened, and how long was it going to take for it to go onto consoles? And now, obviously, it's taken quite a bit of time, but now Sony's thinking, hey, we're looking at the market. Oh, there's, you know, we may as well just go all out digital. But as they have very, very quickly found out, people are not happy about that what's the word I'm looking for? Decision. Yes, that's the word. People want choice, right? You know, most people may pick digital now because it's convenient. It's easy. You don't need to go out into a store, or you don't need to wait for it to arrive and all that kind of thing. You know, but we are in more of a digital world now than we were 10 years ago, which also answers my other question, why the outrage for PC wasn't as big, because we weren't in... Social media wasn't as big. It was less of a digital world back then, more than 10 years ago, versus now. You know, but again, you know, open market and all that kind of stuff. You know, you've got competing markets. You've got Steam, you've got Epic Games, you've got GOG. EA have their own sort of app. So do Ubisoft, you know. And they still sort of put... their games on Steam and Epic as well as their own launcher. That hasn't always been the case. There's been a back and forth, especially with Ubisoft. But, you know, Ubisoft are definitely putting their stuff back on Steam again. Like the new Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Yeah, you know. Versus PlayStation, you've just got the PlayStation Store and then retailers. So, that's it. Technically, there are third-party key sites that's like CD Keys or Instant Gaming, which I get a lot of my keys for PC because they're cheaper. But then there are there are console like PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever. Obviously, not everything's on there, but you can still that. You could argue against that, but not really, because it's not the main contributor to selling them, because those sites sort of buy those keys in bulk, sell them, and then you redeem them by inserting that redeeming code. But yeah, so this then went on to something that I thought of. Will it come to the point now that PlayStation owners know that the probable option is probably either Nintendo? We don't know what Xbox is doing right now with everything, or coming to PC, right? Will people come over to PC? I would answer that question of yes and no, because I think that if this is a really big deal breaker by 2028, because I don't see Sony walking this back. I think this is a purely business decision, and they're going to stick to their guns despite the outcome. That's the feeling I have in my gut right now, right? I don't think they're going to walk it back. There's no way. But yeah, I think PlayStation players will be coming over, but not in the masses. Because guess what? People still like consoles for what they are. And this is only one contributing factor. It's a major factor in everything. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm also saying is there are other considerations to consider, right? So, what is one of the things that pull you to a platform? And it's probably one of the answers that probably most people will say is, well, my friends are on that same console. I know there's cross-platform and cross-play now. It's not for on everything. Jay, you, if you're listening to this, you know how difficult it is to find a PlayStation 5 game to play with me and some others. Obviously, I have a PlayStation 5, but the group of people that he wants to play with only have a PC. I have both. Well, I have 3. I have Nintendo as well. But yeah, he will tell you how difficult it is to find something that's cross-play and cross-platform. So yeah. But yeah, it's the platform, because you would want to be on the same as your friends, and that's fine. That's okay. That's great. And is probably one of the contributing factors. If you were to be given the question openly, you'd probably say, oh, whatever my friends are on. Because I don't think you'd automatically think of something that's a platform that has DRM free, or the fact that you can own your game. I don't think that would come to people's minds. It might come to people's minds more now, but before all this happened, I don't think it would be something. There are obviously other sort of things like, oh hey, you've got what games have they got? Are there any exclusives, and what sort of games? Because you've got Nintendo, which has a totally different sort of game pool than Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. So yeah, because gamers want to own them, they don't want to rent them, which is now becoming more of a thing. And this sort of instigates into what the stop killing games movement does, because that's all about the, survivability of games after post-launch. Not post-launch, post-support is what I meant to say there. Where servers are going down, but it's still playable because it's still playable offline. A huge thing that was shutting down, which was the spotlight on Ubisoft, which was the Crew 1 got completely shut down. Thankfully, because of PC gamers and modders, they've been able to revive that with a mod, and they've made fantastic progress, and it's awesome to see. Obviously, Ivory Tower, who make the Crew series, who obviously have the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest, which is its current title in that franchise, have said, yeah, they heard that huge outcry and was like, yeah. It's not the related issue here. It's not what we're really talking about, but what it is it links to that. It links to it subtly, because there's obviously licensing and owning something and renting something if it's a digital license. But then, will those games last? Will they be lasting forever? If it needs an online connection when the servers go down, what happens to that game? So yeah, they do interconnect at some point. Yeah. You know, and because of this removal from sort of Sony in 2028, remember when you could just lend a disc to somebody? Or you could sell the disc, right? So it would be that become secondhand, because how many times have you gone to a store and decided, I'm going to pick up this game that's 5-10 years old, and it's secondhand, and you can grab it and you can put it in your console, and bang, they are removing that option right now for you, for everybody, which is mad to think, because obviously I'm used to the digital only thing being majoritively a PC gamer. This entire thing doesn't phase me as much as the console players, but I still get the point, and I still get what it represents, because you know that it's one of the things that you want to do. You want to be able to own it, you know. And this entire thing isn't saying, you know, oh, digital is all bad. Digital is good. It's just that everyone wants that option to also have physical media in order to sort of own that media, you know, which is why I said at the start, you know, PC gaming it isn't as bad of an issue when it's digital only with all the things I mentioned earlier versus console. Console, you're more cut off with everything, you know. And as far as I'm aware, this has been the biggest outcry for a long time in gaming. You know, and as I said earlier, I don't think Sony will change. I have a feeling they won't walk this back, but yeah. But anything that's coming out before 2028 will still come out on disc. That's planned to at the moment. So yeah, there is that. But I'd like to know, and be very interested to know, what do you guys think though? Like, do you still buy physical games, or have you already gone completely digital? You know, let me know where you stand on all that. Because obviously there is another flip side here, with the fact that, yes, there's the significance of owning your game, but there are people that are collectors that like showing off something on a bookshelf or just a shelf and say, hey, look at my collection. And they won't really have... Well, they might still have actual physical boxes. You know, they'll just have the code inside, I think. But, see, I don't see the point in that, and I don't think they will. They'll go to all codes in boxes, and then they'll realise, actually, yeah, no. We'll just get them off the shelves. And what's the platform that's done that pattern? Been gone? Yeah, PC. PC's gone through that. Been gone. Got the t-shirt. Yes. And this neatly goes on to what I want to talk about next, which is GTA 6, the pre-orders. Because this entire discussion was actually started a little bit earlier. Because this was after GTA 6 did their pre-orders. And one of the things that we found out was the fact that GTA 6 Physical Edition will have a code inside, not a disc. And this is a first. Now, obviously, some people will be thinking, well, this is bold, but also this is Rockstar. They are known to be the big boys, and if they change something, most likely the rest of the gaming industry might follow suit. Which is true, yes. But do I think that's the end all? No. No, you could read into this and say, well, actually, it looks like PlayStation was planning this anyway. And I think PlayStation I thought, well, GTA 6 has got a little bit of slack from this. We may as well just announce that what we're doing in 2028. So, technically, this is this is me being silly, right? Technically, if you buy a physical edition of GTA 6, you get more than somebody that gets the digital edition because you get a physical box. That's your added prize. You get a plastic box that you get to keep. Yeah, that's me being silly. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously that sparked this entire conversation. Then PlayStation got announced all this. Yeah. The code inside is exactly how PC started, and then obviously PC doesn't have any boxes anymore. You don't see them on retailers anymore unless it's a collector's edition, but it's still a code inside. So yeah, it's one of those where you can see where the pattern's going, and yeah. So let's talk about those pre-orders for GTA 6, because it's something we've talked on the podcast before, and I'm sure you'll be interested in it. Obviously, it is confirmed for November 19th, 2026 for PlayStation 5 on Xbox Series X and S. I'm going to mention the UK cost. I think in comparison to everybody else, like the US, I think it's relatively okay for us. I know loads of people were saying, oh, it's really expensive or whatever, but there's two editions. The standard, which is $69.99, so £70, and then the Ultimate Edition is £90 for us. So yeah, I'm not sure what the conversion is. It might be is it $100 for Ultimate? I don't know. Someone would have to tell me. I don't know from the top of my head. But they did this sort of reveal pre-order with a 30-second trailer. Actually, so basically pre-orders are opening. But there was a really lovely snippet of music that they used, and I loved it so much that I put the trailer on repeat again and again and again. I love the vibe of it. It's so nice. I want the full song, and I want it on Spotify. That, to me, it's such an enjoyable little snippet of music. I love it. I do love it. So, I want to next talk about the pre-order bonuses, because obviously you can pre-order now on the Xbox or PlayStation Store. Digital or physical is your choice. Do you want a code in the box? Do you want the physical thing, or do you want to do it digitally? And it's completely up to you. But it will be a digital license because it's console, unfortunately. It comes with 1 month of GTA Plus subscription, by the way. Now, this is technically normal because they've already introduced GTA Plus with current GTA 5s online. So it's not really a new thing. It is something that you get certain perks with and all that kind of stuff if you want to. To me, I'm like, nah. I'm not really bothered, but you get a month free, so, whatever. So, the terms of this is the subscription continues until it's cancelled. They've explicitly said that on the store. It says this on the PlayStation Store. This offer ends on the 19th of November. Obviously, that's the release date because it's a pre-order bonus. And it must be redeemed by the 31st of March 2027. So, it doesn't get automatically applied yet, but it will do. And if you're wondering what it's featuring, it features a recurring monthly GTA $500,000 deposit into your GTA Online character's bank account, special shark cards for 15% bonus, bonus GTA dollars, that is, access to free and discounted GTA Online vehicles, and rotating selection of classic Rockstar game titles and other featured games in the GTA Plus games library, and much more. That's the description that they've given. So that's what you get. I mean, the fact that you can redeem it any time but before the 31st of March next year is quite good, because it means it doesn't automatically roll in, and you can sort of choose as long as you do it before that date, that is. And looking at the PlayStation Store, I'm sure this will be same on the Xbox as well. But if you look on the PlayStation Store, there's also seems to be an upgrade to Ultimate Edition listed as well. So if you have bought the standard, or you can only afford the standard, you can upgrade to the Ultimate later on, which is always good to have, instead of having to buy the entire game basically all over again, full price. But Ultimate Edition, yeah. Obviously, at the moment, it's unavailable, but I expect that to be available on the day of the release. Yeah. But that's not the only pre-order that you have. You have the Vintage Vice City pack. So you get the 55 Vapid Stania sedan, which features a weapon locker. By the way, If you're on the YouTube version of the podcast, I will be displaying all the images and stuff for all these. As much as I'd love to describe them to you for the people on Spotify and all that, sorry, I don't really have the time to do that, or the capability to describe everything. But yeah, everything that I'm going to be discussing is going to be on the GTA 6 website, or if you're looking on the video version of the podcast, you can see them there as I'm talking here. So yeah, that features a weapon locker and a secure place to deposit stolen goods to be fenced, which sort of indicates a bit of gameplay loop there. You can fence stolen goods, which is interesting to know. There's a Shore Court personal garage near Ocean Beach as well. And there's decadent outfits and hairstyles for both Jason and Lucia. There's a chick linen suit in vintage pastel and a cut and coif of the decade of decadence sort of hairstyle for Jason. And then there's Lucia's red sequin mini dress and curls. And there's also an iconic weapon pattern. There's a tropical pattern inspired by Tommy Vercetti's iconic palm tree button up. If you don't know who that character is, most should. For those people that don't, that's the character from GTA Vice City. And there is some more references to Vice City. I mean, the GTA 6 is a massive, reference, I think. But there are more specifics for stuff that you can get. That's it for standard, by the way. That's all you get. Ultimate Edition, it was funny because when I was just briefly looking through the Ultimate Edition sort of perks that you get, I thought, yeah, that's okay, that's cool. But when I was actually noting these down for the podcast, I realized how much there is in here. There's a lot, by the way. There's a lot. Ultimate Edition, you get a 95 grotty cheetah. This thing. Oh, this thing looks great. As you know, if you're a previous listener or watcher, you'll know this, but if you're new here, I'm a big car guy. Right, I love my cars. This is a mid-90s sports cars, and it looks fantastic. It's got that minimalistic, retro-futuristic livery as well. I love it. And it is probably the main reason I'm probably going to get the Ultimate Edition. I want that car. That it looks so good. It looks incredible. The detail that they've done on the vehicles and everything that you can see from the screenshots is absolutely amazing. You compare it to GTA 5, night and day difference. They've really outdone themselves, particularly on vehicle details and things that you've seen. Yeah, if you haven't had a gander, have a look at some of their screenshots and media that they've put on the GTA 6 website. It is, yes, the details are very, very nice. But I shall move on instead of gloating over that grotty cheetah. Hawk and Little Morgan revolvers is next. So the wording for this is his and hers version. So there's a version for Jason and Lucia, and this is described as having classic Vice City styling sourced from the Vercetti estate. Again, there's another reference to Vice City, which includes the palm tree etched grips, engraved detailing, and high performance scope. So you get some revolver weapons. There's also personalized weapon variants. So these are sidearms with detailed engravings for Jason's Grandi ES9 pistol and Lucia's Close K17 pistol. I probably butchered those names to oblivion, but yeah, you get the point. There's a couple of sidearms that you get as well. For looks as well, you've got a Vice City style. So this is exclusive outfits, tattoos, and more. There's also Jason's safe house vehicles. So there's an Army Fatigue Dinka Enduro motorcycle and a Crest kayak that you can get as well. And there's a Ganado Retro Build mod kit. This is what that's classed as. And you basically add muscle and classic stylings into Jason's well-worn Vapid Ganado low-riding pickup with exclusive mods. There's also a Ride Out Customs mod shop, so transform vanilla vehicles with detailed interiors, exquisite rims and stylings. And some of these things have this wording of basically it's exclusive with the Ultimate Edition sort of thing. I think they word it of only open for business with Ultimate Edition. And this got a little bit of controversy because it's like you're putting a shop behind a paywall, and I get it. I get it though. But at the same time, they want to sort of make sure the Ultimate Editions are worth that extra amount of money that you're paying for it. So it's kind of like, it depends what side of the coin you're on for this. I would prefer if they weren't doing this, but it doesn't mean that these sorts of shops and stuff that I'm going to talk about, because there is more, by the way, that's exclusive. There's more shops and different little things. But yeah, it's definitely sort of a controversy topic. I think it's okay, but at the same time, I think it's a bit unfair to the people on Standard Edition. But I don't think this rules out those shops entirely in terms of those types of shops. So although this particular mod shop is exclusive to Ultimate Edition, there will be others, I'm assuming, and that's what I'm thinking, and that's why I'm thinking they think, and as in Rockstar think, that's okay. But I'm a little bit on the fence on this. I'm not quite sure what way I sort of want to go with this, because you know, I see both sides, but I'm not quite sure. You know, is that a legitimate way to boost out the amount of content that you get and the amount of cosmetics you get for an Ultimate Edition? Or would you disagree with that? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Some of these say they're exclusive with the Ultimate Edition, although this entire page that I got this from is basically detailing what you get with the Ultimate Edition. So it's sort of reinforcing it, which is why, you know, the ones that do reinforce it, I'm going to mention. You know, there's also Sarah's unisex salon, and this is a signature salon styles for both Jason and Lucia, including facial hair for Jason and makeup and nails for Lucia, exclusive of the Ultimate Edition. So a little bit of insight into the sort of customization you can sort of see and do with both Jason and Lucia. You also get a watercraft, which is a Shih Tzu Quello. And this is docked at the Washington Beach with an explosives-laden weapons crate. And I will quote what they said here. Perfect for casting in Gambit Bay and reeling in catches of all sorts. Does that mean we're getting fishing? Are we getting fishing in GTA 6? I know that could mean something else. You know, reeling in catches of all sorts. I would say we're getting fishing. That's pretty awesome. Because as we know, the golden rule of gaming is if a game includes fishing, it is instantly a 10 out of 10. Okay? I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. There's also a shop called the Stock 305. This is a clothing store. And this is Stockyard's premier destination for elevated streetwear. And it's only open for business with the Ultimate Edition as well. There's also a 67 Vapid Dominator buggy. So remember the Dominator? Which is basically the Mustang, right? Imagine that, but it's got mad suspension and off-road tyres. Yeah, that thing. It's been the Crew Wand. You know, you played the Crew 1, and you have gone on I think they're called Raid Spec. It's been Raid Spec'd as that thing, kind of. That's what it reminds me of. So it's said to have impressive off-road handling for the backwards of Mount Caliga, and it's conveniently stored at Paradise Garage in Watson Bay, which features a weapon locker plus a secure place to deposit stolen goods to be fenced. That's the second thing that's been sort of mentioned there. They're also mentioning, as you may have noticed, some of these place names. Obviously, we don't know where these are at the moment. We don't really have the map, really. There are people that are trying to decipher the map, by the way, and just piece it all together, and it's online somewhere. But yeah, this sort of gives us an idea of what each place is going to be called, and so it's kind of good for a lore perspective, is this, actually. It gives us a bit of insight what these places are called. I like that. You know, I like the sort of indicating and suggesting things like that. What else is there? There's the Electric Fang Tattoo. This is a tattoo shop. And this is Stockyard's most iconic ink bar. There are 50 signature tattoos for both Jason and Lucia. And this is all designed by the artist collective Fail. And that's spelled Fail with an E at the end. And This isn't made up, by the way. This is a real life sort of artist collaboration. So they are Brooklyn-based artistic collaboration between Patrick Menil and Patrick Mill. And you can look at their stuff if you just Google Fail, with an E at the end. You will be able to see their website, their Instagram page. They've done a whole bunch of stuff, and their stuff looks absolutely awesome. So if there was one thing that I would say deserves to be in the Ultimate Edition that you pay for, is this tattoo shop, because of the real artists sort of link, the fact that they've done that collaboration for the game. I think that's really awesome. That's really cool. And the fact that they're supporting an artist, that's really, really cool. What else have we got? Because yes, there's more. Yes, really. One-Eyed Willie's mod shop. So this is at Lake Leonida, which obviously it's GTA 6's state of Leonida. And this specializes in off-road modifications and hand-painted automotive artistry. And again, it is mentioned that it's only open for business with the Ultimate Edition. There's also Good Time Gear. This is a capsule collection of apparel and accessories inspired by the Good Time States hit TV show character Maka the Gator, which I'm assuming is an in-game sort of link there. Next, because yes, there's like a couple more things here. That's in the Ultimate Edition, the PTT Youngings Illegal Goods Store. This is a gang compound, and this is what it's described. This isn't really a thing that you go into and just... It's not like the other ones where it's like a shop or whatever. This is a bit different, because it says, raid the compound of one of the South Side Ice City's loudest and most socially active gangs and escape safely to score some special items and distinct contraband. So this is something you can basically just raid, I'm assuming, on a cooldown again and again and again. That's my perspective from that. Kind of cool, kind of different from literally everything else I mentioned, because everything else is cosmetics and upgrades and all that kind of stuff. Next, this last one really interests me. Classic car collection. So you get to track down a variety of abandoned classic and work-in-progress project cars and revitalize them to their former glory in this special commission from eccentric collector and local fixer, Wyman. That's so cool. Basically, we get to do barn finds. Do you know what? I really like the barn find feature from Forza Horizon series. They've obviously done it again for Forza Horizon 6. And I like that. And the fact that they bring that into GTA is good, because GTA has a huge car following, because all the car people most certainly love GTA. I love GTA for that fact, because there's so much. And the fact that they're accounting for the car people that want to do that. You know, I think that will be a really cool activity to do. I'd love to see how they're going to do it. But yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be more than you rock up to a barn find and then it automatically gets done, because obviously that's how Forza Horizon does it. But so that's everything from the Ultimate Edition. That is incredibly a lot. I did warn you, it was a lot. It's a lot of things to actually go through, you know? Mod shops, tattoos, vehicles, you know, mod kits, cosmetic looks for your characters. Yeah, it's quite the list. Is that going to be worth the extra money? I think so. I think it's plenty of. I think that's what Rockstar were thinking. They were thinking, as long as we put a big chunk of everything in there, yeah, we can sell it for the Ultimate Edition. I think that content is worth it, but the question is it worth it putting a payroll behind it? That's the real question. Is it worth putting all those things behind paywalls? Yeah. Let me know what you think. And also, I'm interested to know, what edition are you guys planning to get? Or have you already pre-ordered? I haven't yet. I'm still saving. I know, I've had so many years to save up for GTA 6. Yeah, I know. But, you know. Am I aiming for the Ultimate Edition? Yes, I want that 95 cheetah. Yes, I know. But I get all the other goodies as well, you know. I think it's, if you can save up for it, I'm not here to judge what you do with your money if you want to save up for the Ultimate Edition, because, I think I'm going to. I want that 95 cheetah. It looks so good, man. So good. Oh, that is a lot. That is definitely a lot. And that concludes the podcast. Hell yeah. We're back and I've smashed it all. Hell yeah. What do you think of all that? What do you think of what I've said today over the last roughly hour that I've done? Yeah, definitely a lot to unpack. Obviously, the digitalization of PlayStation has not brought a lot of fans to PlayStation. Being criticised a lot. GTA 6 got criticised as well with the code in the box, which sparked that whole thing. And obviously, the Ultimate Edition. Obviously, some people will feel that it's not worth putting stuff behind paywalls. But at the same time, those won't be the only shops of those types. So, at the same time, it could be okay. And I think the amount of content does definitely add up and is worth it. But it's just the question of, is it worth putting those behind a paywall? Do you know what? I can't even answer that right now because we don't really know the extent of that content, really. I would need to have a look at that content and then decide, which, is a little bit backwards because you would have bought it and then, yeah. Anyway, that concludes number 22 of the Fandoms Edge podcast. We are back. I'm back. I'm doing it all. And I hope you've enjoyed me rambling for the last hour on everything gaming and entertainment based. If you have enjoyed the podcast, by the way, you can give us a follow, give us a rating and a review on the podcasting platform of your choice, or obviously over on YouTube if you're watching the video version. I'm aiming for these podcasts, by the way, not once a month, once a week. Yes, I know. Tall order. We'll see if I can do it. I'll let you know within podcasts and social media if that changes, if the schedule changes, or I have to delay an episode. I will let you know. If you do want to stay up to date with the podcast, follow our socials. We can be found on Instagram and YouTube. You simply have to search Fandoms Edge Podcast and we will pop up because the SEO is so good, or it should be still good. We've been dormant for like over a year, so who knows, right? So, I will see you in the next one on the Fandoms Edge.